Ray, you kind of reminded us just a moment ago. Is that the way that question worked? Do you recall?
That one was, what is the difference between the tribulation and the rapture?
Oh, there you go. That's a good question.
All right. Now, the word tribulation appears. Now, that's intriguing because when you do the word tribulation, it actually is going to occur 26 times in the Bible. But when it talks about tribulation, Jeff, what's it talk about?
It's talking about, the word itself carries the idea of being pressured or being trodden down. And it comes from the idea of a tribulon, which is actually a farming equipment that they use to crush the seed and the wheat and all that and do the separating.
Oh, wow.
Tribulon. And but one thing that's interesting about it is that whenever tribulation is talked about, it's talking about what's going on in the present time in the New Testament when they're undergoing persecution and things of that nature.
So it's not a reference to the end of times.
No. And in fact, Paul, can I refer to this one? In Acts chapter 14:22, this is after he came back from the first missionary journey, that they were confirming the souls of the disciples, exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of God. So that was a present situation. Of course, Paul he'd just been stoned earlier in the chapter. There had been other people opposing what he was doing as well.
That would count for tribulation.
Right, yeah.
And so what a lot of people will do is they try and talk about tribulation in the sense of Old Testament because they go to the book of Revelation. They go to certain passages and trying to say, well, there's going to be these years and these signs that are going to come. And they're actually just taking them out of context. When the Bible's tribulation that it's talking about is really all that live godly shall suffer persecution. Is there a sense of tribulation in that? Yes, but as long from the time that was written to the end of times, it's going to take place.
That's right. In fact, you brought up the book of Revelation. If you go to the book of Revelation, Revelation chapter 1, verse 9, you see there John, I'll just read the verse. It says, I, John, both your brother and companion in the tribulation.
Exactly.
He's in it right then, right there. So you went back, going back just a minute, you mentioned how sometimes people use words in different ways. So one of the ways that people have taken that word tribulation is to apply it to this end time. It's something, it's like a 7-day period or 7 weeks, 7 months. There's different flavors of that, if you will. And they say that this is going to happen whenever Jesus sets up his kingdom, before he sets up his kingdom, after he sets up his kingdom. There's, again, different flavors of it, but it's all at the end. Well, if it's at the end, why is John in it right now when he's writing that letter?
Jack Davis, you put tribulation as a common Greek word for pressure, anguish. I'm going to jump down into your comment here. John's writing this. He's in a prison island as punishment for his Christian teachings. Christians have in various ways, in various parts of the world, have always suffered tribulation, and you're right.